today on like Baomer. It's a day that Lamaisa is marked by the entire from world. In different circles, it has different levels of importance, so to speak, and exactly how much emphasis is put on it and what emphasis is put on it might differ. It's a day that halacha l'maisa, we don't say tachanun. No community says tachanun like Baomer. And it's a day that has various different historical significances to it. One of the significances is the fact that Talmidei Rabbi Akiva Pasku Milamos, there was a plague, but in the Kufa of Rabbi Akiva, and his Talmidim finished dying off. They all died. Rabbi Akiva was the one that was left, and he started again. And that continuity, the fact that Rabbi Akiva was left in order and was able to start again, and he started again, that in of itself is something to give halva for, to be marked in some way. Chazal tells the Talmidei Rabbi Akiva Meisum Bnei Shalei Nagu Kovid Zeh B'Zeh. The Gemara and the Medrash Rabbah. But the reason that Talmidei Rabbi Akiva were killed was because they didn't honor each other. So Rabbi Belsky Zechreinu Levracha asked, Yissachar, does it make sense that Talmidei Rabbi Akiva weren't Nagu Kovid Zeh B'Zeh? Befrat, Rabbi Akiva was the semel of V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. It could be that became part of his, that became his slogan, so to speak, afterwards. But Rabbi Akiva was definitely a semel of Avas HaTorah and Avas Talmidei Chachamim. Does it make sense that Talmidei Rabbi Akiva weren't Noye Kovid Zeh B'Zeh? Akiva, when he came with his Talmidim to his wife, right? The covet that he gave to his wife, Shaliva Shalachem Shalahi. Akiva was somebody who covet had dadi, having covet for a tzveiter was davar pashat by him. So how could that be? Rabbi Krakowski answered in the most amazing most amazing way. He said, we grow up with friends. We start off in playgroup in kindergarten with, and he's Jack and he's Sam, or Yankel and Shimmy. And as we grow older, all our friends might become phenomenal, tremendous Talmidei Chachamim. Ervak stays the Rav, he becomes a big rabbi, and when Ervak stays the Dayan, and he becomes a Reshiva, and become people who are tremendous Talmidei Chachamim, and some of them stay and they learn in Koil and become phenomenal Talmidei Chachamim. But somehow, when we look at them and when we refer to them, we still refer to them as Jack and Sam, as Yankel and Shimmy. They still are friends from when we were in preschool together. They're still the friends that we played ball with. They're still friends that we had fun with. And that's how we view them. We continue just to view them. We don't view them as, wow, my friend the Rosh Shiva, wow, my friend the Dayan, and wow, I'm Mekana, the Hasmad of those friends of mine who are still just steiging away in Koil and learning more and more and more. But we still view them as Yankel and Shimmy, and just as our buddies. And so again, that we're nice to them, like friends are to each other, we lack in the Kavod HaTorah. Now I ask you, that's a beautiful teretz, but I ask you, that's the reason why they deserve death? Hayitachin? Fine, now you told me where their lack of kavod for each other was, but that's a reason to deserve death? So let's explain. Rabbi Shimon, another one of the reasons why like Baomer is, so to speak, a special day is because it marks the yard site of Rabbi Shimon, and it's the day As legend has it, it's the day that Rabbi Shimon gave over, Torah legend, but it's the day that Rabbi Shimon gave over the Zohar HaKodesh, the Torah HaNistar. He gave on Lag Baomer, the day of his P'tira. Hayd Shebahayid. That's very same Rabbi Shimon was a Tana that shows up throughout Mishnayos and Brises. And the Gemara in Yerushalmi, in Kiddushin, Perek Aleph, Halacha Zayin, brings Rabbi Shimon, says that the Torah HaKadosh, the Rebbeinu Shloim, considered Kibbut Avoim greater than Kavod for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Steht in Pasuk, Kavod Hashem Ahoincha, that you mechaber Hashem from your money. Whereas Kibbut Avoim, everybody from whatever you have, it's steht in Pasuk, Kavod Hashem that you have to honor your parents. It doesn't have to do with how much money you have. It doesn't have to do with your abilities. You have to find a way that you personally can honor your parents and do that. So we see that it's greater. So what is Kibbut Avoim? What's the idea behind Kibbut Avoim? What's so special and unique, and why is it so important to the Rebbeinu Shalom that it's more important Kiviyachol than covered for the Eibishter, for HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself? Well, the Aruch HaShulchan Paskins Halacha L'Maaseh, you have to be mechaber your parents because it's a mitzvah in the Torah. The Rebbeinu Shalom said to be mechaber your parents, and not because the whole world honors their parents. We know the Ramban tells us in the mitzvah of Asisa Yosher V'Hatov that the idea is, and similarly he tells us in Kedoshim Tiyu Ki Kalish Ani, that the idea is that we're supposed to absorb the seichel, what the Rebbeinu Shalom is telling us in each one of those mitzvahs, and apply it in every other situation. Therefore, we're supposed to understand the tam, even though we don't paskin based on the tam and the mitzvah, but we have to. That's what gives the fuel for the mitzvah. That's what gives us the ability to apply it in other situations. And the Rambam in Perush HaMishnayos tells us that mitzvah sichliyos, the Rebbeinu Shalom wants us to take that seichel and apply it to our lives. I mean, these are simple ideas. It's basic. Of course, the Rebbeinu Shalom wants us to be decent human beings, and therefore whatever he did command us was for that purpose, and therefore whatever we can extrapolate from what he commanded us, we're supposed to, and apply it to everything else in our life. So halacha l'maaseh is something that we extrapolate from the mitzvah of Kibbut Avoim, even when the Torah's mitzvah of Kibbut Avoim doesn't apply. And when's that? A Ger Tzedek. A Ger Tzedek, his parents become not related, at least from a halachic vantage point. Now that his parents aren't related, he still has to be mechaber them, halacha l'maaseh, that's what we paskin, that he has to be mechaber his parents. Why? Al stin of akaras hatayv. And let's go a little further. This is an idea that we see clearly from Divrei Chazal. Where do we see this? Chazal tell us that there's a mitzvah of aziv to aziv imay. The person has to help somebody who's struggling to load his animal, or to unload his animal, to load his car, unload his car. And if a person's father is doing that, he has kedima. He has to do it for his father first. But if his father and his Rebbe are both doing it, his Rebbe has kedima. Why? Because it says, his father brought him to this world. So he has to be makir toiv too. But Rabbi Haba, he gave him eternity. He gave him olam haba because he teaches him Torah mitzvahs. If a person's father is also a Talmid Chacham and taught him Torah mitzvahs, so then he has to do his father first before his Rebbe, because his father is bringing him both to Ilm Haza and to Ilm Haba. But we see clearly that the idea behind it is that a hakaras hatoiv. What's the idea though? To have covered for Talmidei Chacham is also, we learned in this week's parak in Pirkei Avos, Ezu HaChacham Haloim Mikol Adam. So wouldn't you think that a Chacham is somebody who knows everything and know it all? So comes the Tana that tells him, no, that's not what the real Chacham is. You can't possibly know it all. And somebody who doesn't listen to others isn't going to get more knowledge because he knows what he knows already. He's not going to gain more by not listening to others. But if he cherishes his wisdom and he really appreciates knowledge, he's going to listen to anyone and everything that will allow him to attain that knowledge. In Parakinyan Torah, so the Brisa at the end of Pirkei was a 6th parak, so to speak. It's really a Brises. Right? Shanuch HaCham, the Lashon HaMishnah, it's a translation into Lashon HaKodesh of Tanu Rabbanon. So, the Brisa tells us that Kol Loim Chaver Parak Echad, or Halacha Achas, or Pasuk Echad, or Afilu Dibur Echad, or Afilu Ois Achas, Tzarech Linig By Kavod. That if a person learned anything, even down to one letter from his fellow, from his friend of his, he has to be Noyig Kavod, he has to treat him with respect. Shekain Matzinu David HaMelech, because that's how we found by the David HaMelech. Shaloi lo machi toifel shnei dvarim bilvad v'karoi Rabbi Alufay u'miyudai, and you call him his Rebbe, his Aluf, his Miyudai. Shneimar v'ata enosh ke'erki Alufay u'miyudai v'aloi dvarim kav v'chaymer, and isn't there a kav v'chaymer here? Ma David Melech Yisrael and Madach. If David HaMelech, the tremendous king of Yisrael, who was also one of the greatest Rabbanim of his times, he was busy with Tyrus HaMishpacha. He says, Kol Malchi Mizrach U'Mayrov, Yayishim B'Terakelei, and they're sitting in their lounges, V'atroi Sember Hashem, and their crowns are on their head. V'ani Yayishev, and I'm sitting, V'yodam Miluchlachais B'dam Shulyo, B'chtei Lahater Yishal Abaylo. He was being misasik with shilas. He was getting dirty even to be misasik, to deal with questions of family purity and other questions of all sorts that we see throughout Divrei Chazal, replete with all the different situations that David HaMelech dealt with as a paisik, as a rav, as a Talmud Chacham. David HaMelech was a Navi. He wrote for us Sefer Tehillim. So David Melech Yisrael Shalei Lo Ma'achit Tefel Shnei Dvarim Bilvad. He only learned 2 things from Achit Tefel Kroi Rabbi Luf Miyudai. So anybody else who learns even Yissachar has to be Noyeg Kavod. So I want to just ask a side question. It says David HaMelech learned 2 things, not an Yissachar. So Mechates, if you learn just 1 letter, not 2 Divrei Halacha, but just 1 letter that you have to be Noyeg Kavod, it's the Kav HaChaymer. So Kav HaChaymer is a double Kav HaChaymer. David HaMelech, yes, he was greater than all. David Melech Yisrael. But in addition to that, for 2 halachas he called him Rabbi Alufay Miyudai. So I has come that we should call him Epis, that we should give him some sort of kavod. It doesn't say that you have to bow down to him and call him tons of different terms, and probably would look totally exaggerated if you refer to someone with so many terms of honor for just teaching you a letter. But we see that idea that if you cherish knowledge, you can be Melech Yisrael, but you cherish knowledge. Somebody teaches you something, you're going to give him the due honor. The honor that he deserves, of course. So now we're faced with 2 issues. When you're not Noyeg Kavod Zebazeh, when Talmidei Chachamim don't have kavod for each other, so again, it makes sense. They grew up together. They're friends, they're buddies, they're nice to each other. And I'm mezalzel on them as a human being. But still, there's 2 essential issues here. Because Manavshach. If they have an appreciation for Torah, so then they should have an immense appreciation for the most minute things that they learned from their friends. And of course they learned things from their friends, even if they didn't sit in a chabura that he gave, or a shir, or a drasha. They learned things. Chazal tells them, or in brachas, and all over the place. And that even the idle talk of Talmidei Chacham is replete with Divrei Torah. Every sentence, so to speak, that they utter, every conversation they have is peppered with Torah gems. So avada, there's going to be a ha'aracha for that Torah. And if not, that means that they're lacking ha'aracha for the Torah that they got. And even if they have the ha'aracha for the Torah, but they're not ma'irich, they don't give that appreciation, they don't show that admiration for the person who gave it to them. So then they are kafui toiv. then they lack basic occurrence. But this should be what's most dear to them. It's Divrei Torah. Ashreichem Talmidei Chacham shedivrei Torah chavivin aleichem. But over here, you see that they're lacking Divrei Torah and chaviv to them. And if you tell me that the Divrei Torah was chaviv, so then they're lacking an akaras hatayv. The most basic element of having a debt of gratitude to somebody who gave to you the greatest thing. He gave to you knowledge, Torah knowledge. That's already a whole different level. That shows something which is, it begs the question that what is their Torah worth? Who are these people that they can't have that do honor to their friends? And we're talking about people who you're probably friendly with, especially after Rabbi Krakowski's pshat. How could it be? Something basic is lacking in learning. And you know, it's so simple to be lacking. It's why? Not because really you're a kafui toiv, because really you don't show your thankfulness, and not because really you don't appreciate the Torah, because you're not sam lev. We get caught up in ourselves, and that's the problem. That's what we have to change. That's the element that needs to be changed, not to be so caught up, self-absorbed. To really, to realize that if we really are honorable people, then it's because we understand human dignity. We'll honor others. In alachas kama v'kama, because that we have that appreciation for the Torah that others give us, for the knowledge that others give us. Which is impossible that you have a friend that's not even a huge Talmid Chacham, but some sort of in the way of becoming a Talmid Chacham. You know, Talmid Chacham, I think it's a little bit like the Bnei HaNeviim. What's Pshat says Bnei HaNeviim? We say, Lo Navi Ani, Lo Ben Navi Ani. What does that mean? So I'm not a Navi and I'm not a son of a Navi. So, okay, what does being a son of a Navi have to do with having Nevuah? Elamai. We know that in Navi it says, by Shaul, when Shaul was being Islam, it says, Shaul Bnei HaNeviim. What's right? And when the Ram says Bnei HaNeviim, were groups of people who would try to have Nevuah. Being a Bnei HaNeviim, so being a Talmid Chacham is somebody who's trying to be a Chacham. And that's why a Talmid Chacham is already noyeg in a different way, because he's trying to emulate, he's trying to become that person, that human being who embodies the Torah and embodies the knowledge of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. And that's what we have to work on. To be a dignified person, and to have a true thirst for knowledge, and to be makir toiv, to show appreciation to others. Those are the lessons, 3 tremendous lessons that we can learn from Lag Baomer, from Talmidei Rabbi Akiva Shemesu, from the fact that Rabbi Akiva persevered and continued to teach Torah and build up a new generation of Torah, and his motto became V'ahavta l'recha kamaycha. From Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai on the day of his yahrzeit, from Teres HaNistar, to pay attention to the most minute details, to realize that there's so much depth to every ounce of knowledge. I feel Yissachar. You know what Rabbi Shimon learned from Yissachar? You know what Rabbi Akiva learned from the tagging, from the most minute amounts. Moshe Rabbeinu was jealous of what Rabbi Akiva was able to learn into a word, into the S, into everything in the Torah, all the extras. That's what this day is about. That's what it signifies. And it's not by coincidence that it's in the middle of the days leading up to Kabbalas HaTorah. That's what we can think about at this time of year, on this day. And that's what we have to think about over and over again, every day, till it becomes part of our very being, part of our very fabric and fiber. Yashakayach, Kol Tuv, maybe we Yissachar. But not just that Rabbi Akiva this time will be the one who will persevere and start over again. The Gans Beis Yisrael, and Befrat, all the Talmidei Chacham, all the Lomdei Torah, should have the Magefa stop, and we should be able to come back to the Bate Midrashis with all these new lessons and new appreciation when we see our Chaverim that we haven't seen for so long. Maybe we have to make a Mechaya Mason, maybe we have to make a Shechiyanu. Those are all shas that will have to be dealt with. Davar B'itoy Batoiv. But that appreciation that we'll have, we have to have it. And that's what's going to get us through this. May we have it, and may we be through this already now. Amen. Amen.